Is the mic even on? Anyway, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to yet another banger video. Here we always walk in victory and never in defeat. We get to grow spiritually and we get to know our Father. But without wasting any further time, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, get ready for another word from the Lord, through me. I think I'm gonna edit that part out. But anyway, welcome back to another video and let's hop into today's message. I'm just so excited for the new year. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, the year hasn't been that nice. Like, I think this is the third week we're in the year. I don't know how many weeks it's been, but yeah. My goodness, it has been heavy. But you know what? I am just so grateful that I know the God that I'm serving. I'm just so grateful that I know who I walk with because even if storms arise on my left and my right, I know that I'm walking with the one who can calm the storm. The one who commands it to be still and boom, it's still. Now, today we will be talking about childlike faith. Now, guys, understand childlike faith does not necessarily equate to drinking milk. Okay, as a Christian, as a believer, you start off as a babe in the spirit. You start off as a baby, not like a romantic babe. I know some of you. Anyway, guys, we start off as babies in the spirit. Okay, we are drinking milk. We are nurtured, but we have to grow eventually to develop those teeth to start eating meat. Now, it doesn't mean that when you start eating meat, that life is just so complicated and hard. I mean, even you, like right now, just using some logic, right? Milk is nice and all, but meat is nicer. Now, yes, it does require more effort to like eat the meat compared to drinking milk, but the benefits, are greater. So when you're having childlike faith, it's basically like complete surrender. I don't know, guys, you know how we are as children. As a child growing up, and I'm so grateful and blessed to have both parents stable in my life, and I thank the Lord for that. But I know growing up is just that thing that anything that I need or I want to know, I run to my parents first. If there's something, if I'm having doubts in any situation, I run to my parents first. If there's something I don't understand, I would run to my parents to seek for their advice and their help because I trust them completely. It's like I knew that they cannot disappoint me. That's what the Lord wants from us. If there's something you don't understand, don't act like you know what to do. Rather turn back to Him and ask Him to help you. This year, the beginning of it, actually from last year into this year, there's something so powerful that the Lord revealed to me, right? And I'm so grateful He did. But I noticed that I am having difficulties with complete surrender. When I am in a harvest season where things are blossoming, where I'm harvesting the good fruit, I am the most dedicated servant of the Lord. I am just so grateful. I surrender my everything to Him. But when the season of winter comes along, where leaves start to dry out and they're falling, where autumn comes in, I start struggling to surrender because I feel like I have difficulties with handling disappointments. So anytime I feel like the Lord didn't show up in the way I expected Him to show up, I start struggling to surrender. And in that moment, because I'm struggling to surrender, I'm struggling to read my word, I'm struggling to pray, I am most vulnerable in the spiritual realm. And He also exposed, like, guys, I watch a lot of Instagram because where I am right now, TikTok is not a thing, okay? It's banned. So I remember seeing one reel where they're like, a lot of us see the Lord as if He's a genie, just there to command or like give you your wishes, right? He's just there to serve you, whereas we are the ones that are supposed to be serving Him. As watching it, I was like, I don't know if I'm the only one, but like, that pride in me would come out. Like, yeah, no, a lot of Christians are doing this. But in reality, I was part of those Christians. And there's nothing more humbling as the Lord revealing to you the certain things about yourself that you never knew are there even to begin with. And the things that are ugly, not the beautiful things, the things that are ugly that He still needs to work on, you know? So, like a lot definitely has happened, but I do know the message that the Lord put on my heart to share today is having childlike faith. When the Lord reveals to you what He wants you to do, and you struggle to do it. Suppose maybe you are supposed to relocate to a new country, or suppose you are supposed to bless your neighbor by giving them a seed or sowing into their life somehow, or whatever it is the Lord has instructed you to do, or whatever habit He's told you to let go this year, and you are struggling to do it. Do not try to hide it from the Lord that you're struggling. Do not punish yourself by forcing and then noticing that you're failing and then doing nothing about it. The one thing that He wants you to do is, first of all, acknowledge there's a problem. Acknowledge you need His help, you need Him to intervene, and then go to Him. And the thing is, when you go to the Lord, go with a humble heart. Even though you tried and you failed, remember that where you are, being in the lion's den is still dangerous. Just because you failed getting out, because you tried, you put in your best effort, that doesn't excuse the fact that you're still in the lion's den, that you need rescuing. Go to Him and just literally bow in His presence and just tell Him, Lord, you know what? I've noticed, I've heard your word. And I am noticing that I'm turning into bad soil because you have instructed me to do ABC and I've struggled to do it. I need your help. I need your guidance. Now, guys, the harsh reality, the harsh truth is, just because you tried to do what the Lord has instructed you to do and you failed to do it, it's not as though you have done it. Okay, you are still in danger. It still doesn't count. It's a different scenario if the Lord instructs you, like He did with Abraham, that go sacrifice your son. And then when you are about to sacrifice him, He stops you. That's a different scenario compared to you going up to the mountain. And then when it's time for you to sacrifice, you are hesitant and you back out. That's a different scenario. I'm talking about the second scenario where the Lord hasn't told you to not continue with what He's told you to do, but you have struggled because you're hesitant, or there's doubt, or you don't have enough courage to do what He needs you to do. In that situation, that's where you turn to Him and confess that, Lord, I am turning into bad soil that hears your word but chooses not to obey it. I need your help. I need more courage. I am doubtful. I am fearful. Whatever it is that's in your heart that's preventing you from doing what He needs you to do, tell Him and ask Him to work on your heart. And here's the thing, your walk with the Lord, your walk after the church service and after the Sunday service, that is personal. That is you and the Lord. People will always see, yes, people like, don't focus on what everyone else has to say. We all have a different experience. I may have experienced the Lord first as Father. You may have first experienced Him as provider. I cannot compare myself to you because we're in different seasons and we're in different levels, I guess, if I'll put it that way. So focus more on what the Lord is saying about you compared to what Judas might have to say about you, compared to what the Pharisees might have to say about you, because everyone has their own battle. Okay, you can draw inspiration and motivation from people that are walking right with the Lord, but never allow people to be the ones to crucify you, especially when Christ has already paid that price. Okay, so having childlike faith does not necessarily mean now that you should remain drinking milk as though you're a babe in the spirit, expecting someone to walk the walk for you. Because as a child, there's certain things you can't do. So therefore, you'll expect someone that's a bit grown to help you out do those things, but you can't remain there forever. The Lord does want you to come to Him as you are, but He does not want you to stay where you are. And don't try to change yourself. Literally go at the pace that the Lord has set for you. Only He can transform you. Right? And now the last remarks of today's video. The last thing, what was the last thing? You hearing about God in someone else's experience, in someone else's life, does not necessarily mean that you know God. You still need to experience Him for yourself. Now, if you're starting your new journey as a Christian, or if you're a Christian that's been a Christian for quite some time, if you have not experienced the Lord, if He has not manifested in your life in any way, then you still don't know Him. There's a problem. You should try to figure out what is wrong. Okay, try to pray and ask Him to reveal Himself to you. Now, like I said, just because I experienced Him as provider, you might experience Him as Father, but He still remains God. He still remains Elohim. He still remains Adonai. He still remains the everlasting God.